lesson that needs to be learned about this, and that is, how is this stuff manufactured? Anybody, the decoration is placed on it in a particular way. Not hand painted. Transfer print. Now, what is transfer print? It's a decal. Anybody, well, I think we're all old enough. Anybody have Silly Buddy as a kid? Go on the Sunday comics and you lay it down and you're able to pull. It's the same process, only in reverse. So instead of pulling ink away from the paper, you're putting ink on it. So in other words, you take a piece of ink paper, you lay it on top of the porcelain. When it goes into the kiln, what happens to the paper? Burns up. What happens to the ink? Stays behind. It's not rocket science. And in other words, do you consider yourself very artistic? Neither do I. I mean, not you, but me. You and I are both workers. We could work in Staffordshire and do this. We could go down to the pub, have 3 or 4 drinks, and still be able to do it here. So in other words, it is an unskilled labor position. So in other words, people, they paid guys to just go, and so it's a mechanical method that is almost like machine. And the designs are beautiful, but they're done by jamokes like us. And what happens is after that, after you do the transfer, you get, the skilled people who go in and put these little stripes. Alright, I'm putting the yellow stripes in, I'm putting the red stripes in. And literally it's just an overpaint, blah, blah, blah. And ironically, that allows them, although they don't do it here, to say hand paint on the back. Even though 90% of this is transfer print, if they apply 1 dot of enamel by hand, they can say hand paint. So in other words, and you can tell somebody didn't go through a great deal of difficulty coloring this. They're like, So anyway, so a large set like this, mostly mechanically reproduced, is worth maybe $800. When machines began to manufacture goods and services, and all of a sudden, you have a group of people that have pretty much lived a hard-scrabble existence, for all that they know. And then in the 1840s, machines begin to be able to produce some of this stuff. Now, if you're the person that's working there, ask Tom to do this, and a machine can do the job for you, who wouldn't be for that? Hello, sign me up. So for 60 years, you have a population, and this is worldwide, that is absolutely thrilled that machines are making this stuff. They're making furniture. They're making porcelain. They're making all kinds of stuff, casting stuff, carving stuff. This is great. And they look at it with wonder, and they look and they say, wow, this was made by a machine. And it is. This is a machine-made tapestry from Belgium, around about 1895. Now, they saw this, and they were thrilled. And people would say, a machine made that. And they're going to say, yay! And nowadays we look at it and we say, a machine made this, and people are like, ooh. We don't want machine made, we want handmade. We're going to do one thing, we're going to make sure that we get rid of all this stuff, right? That's bad, nasty, nasty, nasty. Okay. More than anything else, this is in fact a photolithograph. This is a mechanical reproduction. It was made about 1900 or 1905. Okay, that having been said, what scurrilous art dealers would do around this time period is they'd find a nice, talented artist. Hey, pretty lady, make me a picture and I'll give you $100 for it. Okay, they paint this painting. They say, thank you very much. They go out and they make 5,000 copies of them and sell them for $2 a piece. Okay. And it is dated on the flyleaf, 1876. And what's really interesting about this, school books, by and large, that are old are not worth a lot of money. So be prepared for that. But what I really like are the little illustrations here. And that's a fun little, the correct way to hold your hands, like playing the piano or at the typewriter. say, oh, Twain signed it. But he didn't. That's part of the printed part of it. And so it's part of a larger set, probably 40 volumes. And truthfully, it's worth about $1.50 or $2. Well, that's very cool. And these are called cabinet cards. They're not called carte de visite, which are visiting cards. It's called cabinet cards. So was the family from the South, or?
Carlisle was from Kentucky.
Okay.
And his wife, Mary Jane Goodson, that book belonged to her, who was also from Kentucky.
Well, the Alexander Stevens is worth something. I mean, when you if anybody watched me page through that, you saw 100% what? Portraits. Portraits. Cabinet photography in the 19th century is almost entirely dedicated to portraiture. Now, if you want to find an interesting photograph, find a photograph of a slave, or somebody who's Chinese, or a pet, or a dead grandmother. Something that is unusual that people collect, because 99% of it is portraiture. But, people goofing on each other, like people tickling ears with feathers and stuff like that, that's exactly what people are looking for. The collectors of photography. People don't collect portraits by and large. And it's a great family history, and some good ones in there, but the whole book's worth maybe $300. Whereas if it had some interesting things in it, one photograph alone could be worth $1,000. So, depending. This is Johnson's New Illustrated Family Atlas from 1866. They made the best traditional map books that you find in the state because people love maps. It's worth maybe $800. So. Boston Rocker, because it has a flipped up butt and a scrolled down knee. And this type of what's called a Boston Rocker. This has great paint to it. Great finish, hasn't been redone. Has a cane seat that's probably close to being original, but might not be, you don't know. It's got a little hole in it here. Say again?
Would you recommend someone to have that, to fix that for me?
I leave it just the same. What I would recommend that you do, and this is true with anybody who has a cane seat of any kind, is to use a loose cushion on that seat. Cane is not meant to be sat upon there. It's not. But people do that. You need a cushion to diffuse the weight. Otherwise, you will go right through the center of it. It won't take long either. So you need to do that. It's a nice little child's chair, made about 1860 or so, and it's worth around $300. So